Alright, so let's get started. We're going to end up knocking out this for today, and I'm going to do a little zoom in for you. So we're going to end up making 3 buildings attached, 1 building detached, and throwing in a sidewalk and a street. So with that being said, I would just take a piece of paper, fold it in half, crease it, and do as I'm doing. Draw a horizon line cutting through the middle of your page. After you have that horizon line cutting through the middle of your page, put a dot on that horizon line. That is going to be our road. We're making pretty much an upside down ice cream cone. Attached to that ice cream cone, we're going to be making a sidewalk. For the sidewalk, try to make it so that it's the same on both sides of the street. After you've done so, then and this is just the bottom half of the page, I'm just zoomed in a little bit. So this is more what we're looking at. After having done that, then come up about 1/3 of the way from the horizon line to the base. Find about 1/3 up, and matched up to there, make a horizontal line that's on both sides of the street. For the section down below, let's make this pretty much as if it is the sidewalk on the ends, on the other side of the street. I'm going to erase this chunk right here. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom in again because the detail is a little bit better once you're zoomed in. Okay, so now I'm going to make the sidewalk finished off on the side of the street. That's going to be where we're going to be making our buildings. Okay, so that's what you should have at this point. If you want to take a little pause, feel free anytime when I finish doing a step, and then take a little a little break for yourself. But I'm going to jump now to doing the buildings. So we're doing the buildings. Let's make a light sketch. So we're going to make a total of 3 buildings attached. That's going to go about 2/3 of the way over, so lightly to there. And now we need to have a couple light marks to break up where a couple buildings are going to be attached. I'm going to have a building that's going to be right off to the side. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more again so you can see this space. I'm going to start at the corner of where the sidewalk zooms back and comes across. So pencil right on that corner. We're going to come straight up, and when we decide we want to stop, which should be about at half from the horizon line to that corner, then stop and line up and go across. And whenever you decided, when you made that mark for that building to stop, then draw a line down. Then the second building we're going to make just a little bit taller. So just extend that line going up. This line going across. Horizontally, it should be parallel to the horizon line, and then close that part going down. So this is building number 1. I'm going to reference this guy. I'm going to put a 2 on this guy. Building number 3 is going to match up height-wise to building number 1. And I'm using a ruler for this whole thing. Please do the same for yours. Now, building number 4 does not matter if it's taller, if it's shorter, you choose. I'm going to make it just a little bit taller, and then draw 2 lines matching up vertically and then across. Building number 4. Building number 4, he's solo. He rides alone. So, referencing day 1 of doing this, we are pretty much making this building, but now we are making a building attached, and then making some angled lines going back. When we did this building, we did not have a line going through all of them because this is the back half of the building, and we're going to do the exact same thing for this one. Before we just do building one at a time, let's do all the angled lines for all the buildings that we've created so far. So pencil on the vanishing point, go to the sidewalk, and you'll notice since this one's already done with the sidewalk being there, you don't have to draw a line because the sidewalk is already in place. Okay, so that's the one thing that's awesome about that. Well, go to your next corner, pencil on the vanishing point, light line. Pencil on the vanishing point, go to your next corner, draw your light line. We're not going to do the base because that guy's already done. Pencil on the vanishing point of building number 2 now. Draw your next. Building number 2, vanishing point, pencil on vanishing point, go to your next corner, draw a light line. I can't do the corners on either of the base because these are attached. So you're going to start noticing as buildings are attached, there might be less and less work that you have to do. So building number 3, I'm going to zoom. I'm going to stop as soon as I hit building number 1, or I'm sorry, building number 2. So I'm just zooming, stopping. That guy's done. Don't have to do this guy, or this guy, because he cuts through the building, he cuts through the building, and then he's the back half, so haha, don't have to do them. Now building number 4 is identical to the first guy because you're going to get your bottom, top, and corner, and other top corner because he's solo. And number 1, he's a show-off being attached because he's closest to the vanishing point. So let's go and draw. First, put your pencil on the vanishing point, and then go to the bottom, draw that line until it hits building number 3. Once you've done that, then lightly, put your pencil on the vanishing point, lightly draw a line from the top of building number 4 on both corners. Okay, that's all the line work that we need to do. Okay, so now we're going to close these buildings off. So I'm matching up vertically. I'm going to slide over. We are going to slide over until we want, should have made a reference to this, from the horizon line to the top of this building, we don't want to go past half. I'm a little bit under half. Doesn't matter if you went a little bit further back. Do not go past half. We will be coming back to that later in the week. Now, since these buildings are all attached, we're going to say that there's going to be a road back here, which we'll talk about later in the week. We need to close this guy off. And so I am matching up my ruler to not look at my building, but to look at the horizon line right now. I want it to look like an equal sign. And so I am matching up and going equal. So this line should match up with the horizon line. If you did that, awesome. So now I'm going to have this building, since the storefronts are all the same, the back of the buildings will all be the same. So where this one ended, the next one will start. So the front of the building straight up and down, so the back will be straight up and down. And now, to finish them off, I always mess up big time on this part. When it gets super close to the horizon line, it gets really thin. Cover up your building. Look to the horizon line. And if it looks like an equal sign, draw the line. Then that part is done. This building number 3, because he is shorter, poor guy, than building number 2, then we will not have to draw him. The back of that building is covered up. So we really like building number 3 because he does not cause many problems for us. Now we're wanting building number 4 to stop at the same time, depth-wise, as buildings 1, 2, and 3. So we want to make sure that where we're going to be creating a road in the future, put your pencil on the back left corner of building number 1. Put the ruler up against there, and then lightly draw a line through building number 3 and off to the side of 4. That is where our future road is going to cut through. So anywhere in that space is where you can say that's where that building's going to stop. Okay. Well, I'm going to put in a little bit more work make a line going back there and saying that this building is going to stop right about here. You just eyeball it and put it wherever the heck you want. It's totally fine. But that needs to go parallel, up and down, matching the front. Okay? Now, just because this looks super long does not necessarily mean that it is wrong. It's off to the side. Things look bigger as it goes off to the side, whereas when it is up close and closer to the horizon line or vanishing point, they get shorter, okay? So just forget what your brain is telling you, saying it's wrong. So after doing that, then match up to the horizon line to close off this building for building number 4. Okay, so we have our 4 buildings, but we also have a whole bunch of chicken scratch, which we need to erase all those angled extra lines. After that stuff is all done, then the tough work is done for the day. Now what we're going to do is just throw in the fronts of the buildings. Most doors for your house is all the same height, and that's typical for buildings too. There might be one door that's greater and more grandiose than the others, but let's just figure out how tall we want a door to be and line up and make a mark anywhere you want. The width can be small guy, wide guy, but after you have the height of them all matched up, then just draw straight down, and do your thing. They do not have to match up the same width, but height wise they usually do. I'm going to make this guy double door. So all those guys are done. Now just figure out your windows. In my opinion, I think if you just make window and make them all the same, it looks super boring. If you look up on the Google, pretty much windows from downtown of any city like Des Moines, then you'll notice that, yeah, they might look fairly similar, but they're different. So I'm going to end up making a big massive window on number 2. And you can erase the numbers on these buildings. It's a you thing. And then I'm going to end up making 2 windows on this guy. One being big, one being mini-me. Please use a ruler for all this stuff. If you freehand it, it's just not going to look as good, especially when we start doing the sides, which we're not doing today. Okay, so that guy's all done. I'm going to make this one a little funky and go down the side. So if you want to research, look at some buildings and windows you like, or just copy and paste everything I do, that's fine too. So I'm going to end up having that one just have a window off to the side. Okay, I'm going to have, this one's going to be funky. It's going to have design windows going off to the side. This one is going to have windows that go straight across. We've all been there, we've all seen those. This one's going to have a big massive T going through, but it's going to be a lowercase t going like that. Maybe the mini window has a little chunk going right through it, so it matches all that. Okay, now this one I'm going to end up making 2 rows. Oopsies, that is pretty trash right there. I love Forky. Trash? Forky? Okay, clean up the edge, scooched them over. Couple thin guys. These thin guys are going to have a couple lines on each end. And that's going to be it for the day. Alright, so you ended up making 4 buildings, 3 attached, 1 with an alleyway, and whatever windows and doors you want on the front. Okay, we will hit doing this same type of deal in 2-point perspective tomorrow. Alright, so and we will extend off of each of these, so don't pitch them. We're going to add to this later in the week, add to our 2-point, later in the week. But for now, toss your name down here, right on the street. Put your class period, and have a good rest of your day, everybody.